Hey, I see your cheap plastic automotive service ramps. And I raise you the finest piece of Lone Star Hawaiian engineering on this earth, our full service ramps, DIY, because you gotta get a 4-wheel alignment done today, now. Because some services require the entire weight of the vehicle on the ground, which we're doing today, because not this one, that one. And my car won't stop pulling to the right because my alignment's out. And the professional shop that I took it to for the alignment told me they couldn't do anything about it because of my aftermarket modifications. And they're actually right. This is totally my fault. And before anyone says it, no, it's not the taper of the road. And yes, this has been an ongoing issue for months. I've just lived with it. But we have an exciting 24-hour drive that we're gonna be taking in the C5 Corvette. That's just gonna drive me insane. So the question is, if a professional shop couldn't get this thing in spec for an alignment, could an overconfident do-it-yourselfer do it with a couple tape measures and a tool from Quick Trick Alignment? But before that, we're gonna have to build ourselves some epic ramps because we gotta get underneath the car, but the car has to be on all 4 tires, suspension completely settled and on its full weight. So we can't just simply put a jack underneath it and jack it up in the air. This is gonna be a fun one and probably slightly sketchy one today, so let's get working. When your car's out of alignment, one of the biggest pains, outside of it just being annoying because your car's trying to drive itself off the road, is your tires will tend to wear out faster. And I do my absolute best to keep the longevity of my tires the #1 priority. Now the ramps that we're building for today's DIY alignment, there are some out there and they're called race ramps. The set that we're gonna need to do what we're trying to do here costs $3,000. So I decided to instead go to Lowe's and pick up that mess over there. So out of the stack of 2x12s and 2x8s, this will become probably one of the heaviest set of ramps in the world. However, a very sturdy set. There are a ton of different ways you could build these ramps. I'm gonna build them on the heavier side, which is going to suck to move. Peace of mind when you're under the vehicle. So Sarge is here helping us out. We're gonna go ahead and start cutting these 2x12. So the idea is we're gonna build this in 4 sections. What that's gonna allow us to do is to be partially modular. Storing will be easier because we can stack it. And we're also gonna build it so we can remove the center section once the car's in the air so we can actually access everything underneath without a lot of interruption. You admiring my work from my last video? Yeah. Yeah, I got a lot of comments already. It's like, those vents are useless because your purlins go this way. And now that I look at it, I'm like, yeah, you're right. They are useless.
But hey, they'll look good though.
Texas summer heat, guys, gotta love it. Well, it's been 100 for what, 3 weeks now? Those 100-degree days are becoming Element days. Super grateful to have Element sponsoring today's video, guys. Definitely a winner. All right, we have 2 boxes that are pretty strong. I'm gonna say strong enough to drop my truck on because we're gonna try it out later. Plenty of strength going from the top to the bottom, transferred all the way down. Those 2x12s are inserted in the middle are just going to prevent it from twisting and dominoing and basically falling sideways. But on top of that, we have 2 2x8s just to basically run the car up on top of, but that'll also provide the additional reinforcement. It's hotter than Hades right now, but fortunately Element is coming in clutch again as a sponsor of today's video. Thank you, Element. Because Element helps anyone stay hydrated without all of that sugar found in other sports drinks. 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams potassium, 60 milligrams of magnesium. Feeling good. But sweat like a pig. It's good for you, right? Yeah. Each stick pack of Element delivers a meaningful dose of electrolytes. It's free of sugar, artificial colors, or other dodgy ingredients, and it's formulated for anyone that's on a mission to restore health through hydration, and folks like me that are always on the move and sweating. All right, next one. Knock that one out real quick, and then we're gonna test these for you guys. I'm just gonna drop the truck on it and see if it holds. And if it does, we'll make the rest. If it doesn't, then we gotta go back to the drawing board. And that's actually the smallest one we're gonna make. I don't know the possibility of something stupid happening, but you lose both water and sodium when you sweat. Both need to be replaced to prevent muscle cramps, headaches, and energy dips, and the solution isn't to stop drinking water, though it is to drink water plus the right amount of electrolytes. Yeah, I don't know what to say. 3, 2, 1, ready? Looky there! Solid. Hey, now you can change the oil and differential fluid. Any flex in the... Nope. Long way down. Well, guys, we're gonna call that a win, just like the offer in description. So go to drinkelement.com/LoneStar and get yourself a free sample pack with any purchase. And there's no risk at all, because if you guys don't like it, you can return your order without any questions asked. Thank you again to Element for sponsoring today's video and allowing me to be as safe as I can be with Hawaiian Redneck Engineering. Also, thanks, Dad. This is the best bad idea I've ever had. Look at that! I also want to note that Sarge was recording that. You saw him in the back, not because he thought it was going to be successful. It worked out. Well, it's a good thing we're both excellent mathematicians. Mathematicians? Yeah, that's a total lie. So we've been scratching our heads for a little bit and realized that this Corvette is gonna be a pain in the rear to get up this high. The initial plan we had for our ramps is not gonna work at all. In fact, we have to more than double the length of the ramp as initially planned, and that means we don't have enough material to that, which means we need to make another Lowe's run. Regardless, we're gonna have an 8-foot ramp because this thing is so dang low from factory, and then I lowered it even more because race cars. It's going about as good as I thought it was gonna go, so we're good. I don't know, what do you think? Best bad idea ever?
Best bad idea ever.
We're gonna have a lot of benches when we're done. You don't need these silly Walmart plastic ramps. It's the heavy duty 900-pound ramps that we should really want. You might ask yourself, why am I not explaining exactly what I'm doing here? Well, on average, your car or truck likely weighs between 3,000 and 6,000 pounds, which is no joke when it's sitting above your head. So be very aware that doing something wrong here could end badly. And I don't encourage anybody out there to do this for themselves unless you know what you are doing. Yeah, I need 3 2x12s and 2 2x8s to finish this up, because my ramp's going up to my really cool, yeah, they're really tall, and my Corvette's really, really low. But in other news, check out my electrical in the shop. We've been waiting on the city now for 72 days to approve my electrical, so I improvised. Brought to you by Energizer and some Duracell. But here is our makeshift ramp, guys. We got everything done besides the ramp going to the dang thing, and we got these guys coming back. And we know at least the back ones hold up to the weight of the truck, so obviously the Corvette will be fine. I need 5 more boards, and I need oil and filter for the Corvette because this is about to make a 24-hour road trip. Well, thanks as always, Dad. A quick, 2-hour project that became full half a day. Yeah, we got lunch.
Full half day.
The best bad idea I've ever had. Specifically made for big Corvettes. What do you guys think? Corvette. Up. All right, well, here's that crazy ramp we've been talking about. Because it's a Corvette, yeah, it's a long ramp. We're having another holy shnikes, it worked moment, and it worked. So this is the heaviest vehicle, one of the heaviest we have, and I figured we test this out before we throw the Corvette on there, and it works wonderfully. However, I forgot the front track width is a lot wider than the rear because we do have a long travel suspension, which kicks that tire out significantly, which means that back tire is a little close for comfort on the inside. But this is something we can solve for later, and we also made this modular, so we can actually add an additional piece to service our trucks if we need to someday. So basically what I can do is build another 30-inch block that'll go here, extend this out, and then the ramp will come up to this point and then essentially serve the same purpose, but be longer. But this is gonna be perfect for both the ZL1 and the C5 Corvette. And we've made it modular in the middle because once the car is up here, you'll see here in a minute, we can remove the middle piece and actually get up and under the car very easily from the side. So that's the idea. But now that we have them and they allegedly work, it's time to get the Corvette in here because we got a four-wheel alignment to tackle right now because tomorrow we're hitting the road for 12 straight hours, all the way to Bowling Green, Kentucky. So there was this slight concern about these modular boxes pulling apart for each other. I could have cut them in a way to where they slot into each other and kind of lock together. I just didn't want to think through that. So instead, I bought a couple of these latches off Amazon. These actually have like a 350-pound weight rating despite being tiny. And this is gonna be kind of really adjustable, or even tighten her up a little bit. Lock her down. We've got so much to get done in the next few hours. I believe that right rear toe is in, which is making that car turn to the right. We also need to do a full service, so oil change, filter, as well as air filter. It's so cool to have these ramps. We're saving tons of money by not buying the $3,000 competitor ramps and instead went to Lowe's and built our own. So what we have over here is a few goodies from Quick Trick Alignment Solutions. So if you remember back about a year ago, we did a front end alignment on the Mahalo Runner. The issue with this truck is once I installed that long travel kit, she no longer fits on a traditional alignment rack. So we had to find kind of an old school method to get it done, and it actually got it dead within spec, and it's been going great for over a year now. So what we have is not only the kit we used last time, but their new 5th generation Quick Trick alignment set, which has a few more goodies to help with the toe on the vehicle. First step, we got to get the car on these turntables. We're going to be checking caster, camber, and toe. In terms of specs for the C5 Corvette, the specs from GM are such a broad spectrum. After doing a little more research across the Corvette forums, there are very optimal specs when it comes to daily driving / some competitive driving as well, and that's kind of where we're going to land. How we go about setting this is first off, we set our caster, then we set our camber, and then we set our toe. The caster spec that we're going to be going for the C5 Corvette is between 6 and 7 degrees of positive caster. Essentially what that means is where that wheel comes down in that spindle is going to be a little bit further back from the wheel, which makes it a positive caster. If it was negative, the opposite. Why that matters, if you're within spec for that positive caster, you'll notice that when you go around, for example, a turn and you let go of the steering wheel and it automatically auto centers or straightens up on its own. If it's negative caster, not necessarily the case a lot of the time. There are a ton of specs for the camber. We might go a little more aggressive than that daily driver spec. 0 to a quarter degree of negative camber on the front end and 0 to a half degree of negative camber on the rear end. That top of the tire is tucked in towards the fender a little bit, which which gives you that negative caster. Positive caster is going to be the direct opposite. That negative camber gives you a lot more performance in terms of turning and rolling resistance. However, tire wear gets atrociously bad the more and more negative camber you put on your car, and then we're not even gonna go there. We're not even gonna go there. No. Lastly, with the toe, 0 inches to a 1/32 of an inch, and then the rear at 1/16. Those are the specs we're going for. We're gonna use our Quick Trick Alignment Solutions kit to dial in those specs. Now we set this exactly at 90 degrees from the floor, and this bottom one is exactly level with the surface it's sitting on. One of my biggest gripes for this kit, the digital level they include, first off, has rounded corners, and this has to be perfectly butted up against this piece of aluminum, or there will be nearly a 1/4 degree of variability. Also, you have to auto zero it, which is awesome. However, this thing automatically times out, and I can't figure out how to get it to stop timing out. It turns itself off after a few minutes, and you have to unhook it, re-zero it. It's a pain in the butt. So if you move quickly, we're gonna put this on the plate right behind the tire and auto zero it. So we're -0.8 degrees of camber. So it's a little more aggressive than our spec, but not horrible. Let's go check the other side. All right, we got -0.4 degrees. So -0.8, -0.4. That's pretty dang close, but we'll go under there and see if we can dial that in a little bit closer. We got both our tape measures pulled all the way across, gone underneath the fender, and we're coming out here. And in that measurement, we're sitting exactly at 76 3/8. Come to the rear, 76 3/8. So dead on, exactly where we need to be for toe. All right, front end is dialed in. That took a little while. I'm a little bit obsessive compulsive advantage. I wanted that within 1/32 of an inch. Hypothetically, it should drive absolutely straight for the front. But the rear is actually where I think I have my issue. If I remember right, when I had it aligned, they came back and said, hey, we got everything in spec except that right rear. So it does pull right currently. So my assumption is that toe is in on the right side. So basically the back of the car is trying to drive that way, which is making the front of the car drive that way, which is me having to counter steer that all the time. Let's get this rear taken care of. 1/16 of an inch on our toe. Our camber is up to -0.5 degrees. Feeling really good so far, so we're just gonna hands off the wheel, go through the gears. It's dead straight. And then the road starts to taper right, so the car will naturally kind of go towards the edge. But we're gonna clean this thing up quick, and then we're hitting the road bright and early tomorrow. It's gonna be a fun trip. Guys, Corvette is ready. Fresh new fluids, alignment is dead on, and we got ourselves some epic service ramps that weigh a gazillion pounds, but they're very usable. Just some good old Lone Star Hawaiian engineering. Thank you guys so much for hanging out today. If you haven't subscribed to the channel just yet, be sure to scroll down, hit that subscribe button below. Big mahalos to Sarge, my dad, for helping out build these bad boys to help me get the alignment done, get the oil change, and we are set and ready to go for Bowling Green, Kentucky. But until that day comes, as always, y'all take care. Ahui ho. Aloha.